Hi, Christopher Butt here with the Corcoran Group, right by this massive pigeon on the High Line. Today we are going to take a nice, beautiful walk down the High Line. It is a park in New York City, once a set of railroad tracks that brought industrial goods from lower Manhattan out of the city. But over years, they tried to take it down. They didn't know what to do with it, and eventually, they developed it into a beautiful park. So the High Line it's a city park, and it's an example that many other jurisdictions have taken as an example and copied. So this particular section of the High Line where this pigeon, that sculpture has been changing over the years. I know at least one other that was there before. And we will actually travel to the Western Spur. I'm standing right by Hudson Yards. Hopefully you've seen my video or will look for my video. Places we're going to see today are just pretty much a walk down the High Line, and we'll see several buildings. Many buildings have come up along the High Line because, like they say, build it and they will come. So, yeah, as in many attractions in New York City, people want to live there. So there are actually a lot more buildings than there were when the High Line was first envisioned as a park. It sort of attracted a lot of development. Anyway, we'll see some of those interiors as well in this video, and end up down in the West Village, where we've already done some videos as well. Yes, pigeon is very large. Everyone wants to put their little kids up there. Again, going north here is the avenue with Hudson Yards on one side. It's a related development. And then on the other side is another development. So you got a Whole Foods over there. That is the main part of Manhattan. This is all Manhattan. That's central. And going down south on the avenue here, goes all the way to the water, and then it turns and goes all the way down to southern Manhattan. This High Line here, we're going to go over. You can't see most of it because of the buildings, but we will do the Western Spur, which is the most recent conversion. So this is sort of characteristic of this High Line Park. You see railroad tracks were the original ones. I'm sure they were refurbished. And of course they can't be used as railroad tracks now because they're in the concrete. But they have a lot of different seating areas. Architecturally a very interesting situation here, because it's that nice little area where you can sit out over the street. It's a nice sunlit day here, summer, so the weather is gorgeous. You're walking directly towards the Hudson River, which is west. I never like to say due west because everything in Manhattan's a little skewed. The island is not specifically north-south. There's a little bit of a skew. And then every year around this time, there are two dates known as Manhattan Hinge. That's when the sun lines up exactly with the streets that go east-west. So you can see the sun setting between the buildings. So we're moving right here by Hudson Yards. This is sort of the southern extremity of Hudson Yards. And you walk out from Hudson Yards straight into this section of the High Line. They do close it off. They have hours here. Let's walk on this section. It looks really like railroad tracks. They have all these interesting plantings, which there are little signs, so wish I had time to give you, for those of you who are botanists or into the varieties. I think there are very specific things that are planted here. Oh, there's a little bicycle, and there's a foot. The foot is a fountain. It's got tongues in it. It's a little strange, but hey.
And that's it.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Right. And then there's something else here. Art object, foot fountain. Let's continue here. So this shed, which is part of Hudson Yards, is a theater, and it can be opened up in the summer. You see those huge wheels, and most of the year, I guess, they keep it closed. This whole hovering moves, or it's supposed to be movable. I keep coming back to the more. Oh, here's how we manage our gardens, manage stormwater. As you can see, very specific varieties of plants have been put in here. And we're on the railroad tracks. These look way more authentic than most of the High Line. They're measuring something, or is that just art? Interesting, as one of my Instagram people that I follow likes to say. But we're on YouTube, so hey, let's stick to YouTube. This is a very interesting area here. There I go again. This entire city section of Hudson Yards was built over the Hudson Yards. Those are the train yards where looks like MTA stores their trains. Well, it goes all the way under here, and this entire section of the city was built over the train yards. Up the avenue there, I think that's Silver Towers, is it? Maybe it's something. Oh, that's near the. You can see the convention center. So this is probably about 10th or 11th Avenue now, and I think that's 12th Avenue. Sorry, with the convention center. This is all brand new park, luxury rentals, and the Hudson River. Gate closes at sunset. Oh, I guess this is some sort of a division here. Still along the High Line. There's some old tracks over there. Vegetation. It's all Hudson Yards. The new developments that I've shown in another video. See what those apartments look like. I even have an entire video up on how Hudson Yards was created and built by those people who actually developed it. Oh, look, there's a train going in to the train yards. Very active. So I guess we're going downhill here. It'll be fun to walk back up. What's ahead of me is the Hudson River. Behind me is the Hudson Yards. Yes, Hudson Yards developments right behind me. We're getting closer to the water now. It's a beautiful day, so there are people in all sections of the park. And that's the West Side Highway over there. Those are some tall buildings, all built on top of train yards. Yeah, I was saying earlier, this section of the High Line, it looks like it's narrowing down here as the newest section. It's only narrow because they have made a narrow path along one set of train tracks, and over there is the other set of train tracks, which is all vegetation. Very different from the main section of the High Line, which has a lot more architectural details. This just seems to be an off-ramp. But you do get a lovely view of the Hudson River and some of the boats. A lot of those buildings are over by 42nd, and we are here. Do a little peek at the Empire State Building. Once the tallest building around. Still pretty tall, but dwarfed, at least visually, by a lot of buildings. Well, it sure is a long spur. Right on top of the trains now. There's another one getting ready to leave. Nice to put a little seating area here. Sit and look at the river. There's got a tree there, so maybe not the best spot. And behind me, the river and the highway. So sort of the end of the trail here. Just a few more steps there. The Highline Park, this newer section that was built later. Obviously, the actual structure and the tracks are very, very old, from the 1800s, I believe. Or maybe the train tracks were raised in the early 1900s. So they've been here for a long, long time. And just recently, in the last, I want to say 10 or 15 years, was developed into a park because many people wanted to take them down. Like people kayaking or jet skiing, the water over there. It seems to be a nicer spot for river viewing, but we do get a lot of highway sound from the tires. So this actually brings us over to the convention center, Jacob Javits. I believe he was a senator from New York. They named this massive convention center, which I went to an expo last week, 2 weeks ago. I think that might be in my 42nd Street video. So don't forget, follow, subscribe, so you see all the videos. And this goes on down to, I think it's 34th Street. See the New York Times building, Bank of America, way over on Bryant Park. A bunch of other rental buildings, condos, some more rental buildings, and the Intrepid behind those ventilation stacks for the Lincoln Tunnel. The Lincoln Tunnel is a huge tunnel that goes down under 42nd all the way to New Jersey, and you come out on the other side. Massive, massive tunnel. One of the 3 Hudson River crossings. There is the Holland Tunnel down to the south, and the George Washington Bridge way up north. That's all New Jersey, on the other side of the water. We are walking back from the Western Spur of the High Line. A lot of it was not as nicely developed as what we're going to see. And we're going to go past this crazy fountain again, sculpture. But there are many more artistic things to see along the main stretch of the High Line, which goes all the way down to Horatio Street and the Whitney Museum down in the West Village. If you haven't already seen my West Village videos, those should be up now or soon, maybe. So follow and subscribe. Christopher Butt, for the Corcoran Group. Yes, kids love it. That is the structure. It's created as a central piece. Hudson Yards, the vessel, Hudson Yards, and then now we go south. We just covered that section over there with a huge pigeon. Used to be another sculpture there before, famous artist. And here we are, rolling on the main section of Hudson Yards. We were just over there. This is going to be crowded. Beautiful holiday weekend here in New York City. Leaving Hudson Yards behind us, heading into it's almost like a little canyon here. This is actually under construction or under a shed. You can see they're doing probably some local Law 11 work. Restaurants, rooftop bar, all of that. On either side, we have residential buildings. It looks like a bar, a tools way. These are some of the lovely plantings, but I guess they're doing something above us. Luxury living in Chelsea. So we are going through the neighborhood of Chelsea. There will be another video about Chelsea. And as I said, we already should have one about West Village, which is the destination here. As you can see, it's getting more and more crowded. It's getting a little bit of a traffic jam. Got to figure out how to get past these people. And it's almost Manhattan Henge, not quite. Always some new sculptures. We have candles here, some more luxury rentals, old buildings. These buildings have been here probably 100 years. Another candle. Yeah, it's a traffic jam on this narrow section here. As you can see, everybody wants to be here. Traffic in both directions. People ducking through, trying to get to the front of the line when on the wrong side of the street. In America, we tend to stick to the right and pass to the left. Now here's a very interesting building. They're all interesting, but this one is by a very famous architect called Zaha Hadid. Somebody's a little upset with their travel companion, family member, who knows. But yeah, Zaha Hadid was a famous architect who built things all over the world. This was her contribution to the High Line. Some people love it, some people hate it. And she has since passed away, so rather tragic. But she did contribute this rather eclectic and forward-thinking piece of architecture to our city. Right here on the High Line. A lot of photography sessions, maybe I'll do my own. All right, there I am on the High Line. Zaha Hadid Building right behind me, as well as a lot of Hudson Yards buildings. I just came from there. Looks like a little orchard here. So this is cutting through the neighborhood, I believe, of Chelsea. Tunnel of trees. There are older buildings here. I guess they boarded up their windows. Old factory buildings turned into lofts. A little outtake here. National Academy of Design. I guess they have a home down there. There are a lot of these staircases down to the street level, elevators as well. Can't build anything modern without some wheelchair access somewhere. These stairs are closed, but that's a pretty nice picture. Yeah. More stairs on that side, lookout point, and more construction sheds. Looks like that area has been cordoned off. Can't use it. Can't go down there. That's the beauty of construction. It's one of the cons of New York City. So big. Always something going on. Every building that's look, there's a little hole here. Look through. Smokestack, another smokestack here. Older building. Factories that were once serviced by this train line back in the 1800s and 1900s. It was regular train tracks on the ground. So I believe when it was originally conceived, these seating areas were cordoned off for construction. So this was originally just a regular railroad line back in the 1800s, as I said. And it serviced a lot of the factories further down. New York City was a thriving industrial city of the world. Between New York, New Jersey, and a lot of these sections here, they produced a large portion of the world's output. And by the end of Second World War, I think 60% of the world's production, GDP, came from, well, not just here, but the United States. And later they raised the railroad tracks because they were a hazard. A lot of people got killed trying to cross the railroad tracks. So they tried, I believe, horse guards, and then they raised them to create the High Line. An interesting little spot here. Some of the little more open area. It's because some of these buildings may be older, not as tall. An art experiment there. No, it's not a lift. And then you get modern faces here. Shapes of these buildings. There are buildings right off the High Line, again inspired by the fact that the High Line is here. Everybody wanted to live by the High Line. Not everybody, but a lot of people. Nice plantings here. Sign for an old car wash down there. And then coming up on 23rd Street, because I recognize those buildings as London Terrace. London Terrace is an important part of Chelsea. Beautiful buildings here. Look at that green industrial building from back in the day. These are all old factory buildings. And then you get a brand new modern building there. Pre-war apartments. This might be a good place for Manhattan Henge. It takes place in a couple of weeks. Widened out a little bit. Not as much congestion now. 10th Avenue Finest Deli. So that's got to be 10th Avenue down there. Back at Hudson Yards. We just came through that area. And we will continue, go on through the Chelsea region here. Again, it's very high line. Not that Chelsea, because we're not down in Chelsea. We're sort of, it's almost like a bypass, flying above Chelsea.
So
interesting little architectural details. Water fountain for the dog.
Nope.
Oh, as you can see, people coming up here on this staircase. A lot of the construction is over in the sense of we passed it, and we get to see some prettier parts. Beautiful time of the evening, light coming through the trees. Manhattan mini storage is huge. A friend of mine had a massive room there. Wanted to work out of there, but it's just mini storage. More interesting buildings. 10th Avenue. It's probably 22nd. There are a lot of galleries in Chelsea. I want to be in somebody's photo, I'm sure. I can't help not being in someone's photo. There's too many people taking photos. And you have the reflections of the buildings on the east side. Well, we made it through that part. It's a little bit open again. So the buildings are actually blocking the views on either side. Not as many people taking pictures here. It makes it a little easier to walk. But it's nicely landscaped. As you can see here, you have some more artwork. Some fake flowers growing out of somebody's patio in the back. It's a modern building. I think it's a rental building. Don't forget, we do have railroad tracks all the way. I think this piece of artwork changes. Seen a few different items here. Oh, look, ice cream. We love tips. Berry stop. Okay. Strawberries drizzled in chocolate. All right, so we just came through that another side street there. Get to see the light. And then we go back into a tunnel. Look good for good. Kenneth Cole. Well, nothing like having a store where you can advertise to the High Line. Another sheltered area here. Walking through a little forest. I guess some people try to go running, get stuck in the crowds. Coming up on another street crossing here. The gardens don't grow themselves. Donate now. Very orange sun. We're walking through another narrow area here. Quite a bit of foliage and these little plants down here. Oh, even trees. All right, so maybe you're a little sick of just seeing me walking through the High Line. Switch it back to the view. Here we have a bunch of brand new buildings. Some of them just sold out, some of them still being sold. So if you want to live here, plenty of opportunity. Ooh, there's the sun again. Gallery, something available. I believe this has an apartment available. What is the name of this building? The Iron Building, something like that. And then those lantern-like buildings, guess what they're called? Lantern House. Either side of the High Line with the entrance below. Some very nice restaurant as well. A lot of these apartments, believe it or not, they are 2 levels of, so you have an upper, it may not be the same apartment, but there's in the lantern an upper and a lower. Let's take a look at that one over there. You see somebody's watching television, and then there's an upper level. So they're not double height. Probably a sculpture in their common area. Yes, I remember when they were building these and couldn't quite tell what they were because they were all glazed over. And they definitely look like lanterns. Someone's got a nice photo op here. She's taking the Hudson Yards picture back that way. Nice light over there. So yeah, we're just passing through the Lantern House now. In other words, it's on either side of us, or no, actually inside the Lantern House.
I don't know.
Entrance is, I believe, below us, but they're on either side. And then we come up to a different building. Plenty of videos of this one. It's actually currently selling One Highline. Lovely videos of One Highline. Amazing amenity spaces. Pool with the aqua lilies. Amazing water synchronized swimming group. Showed off their pool. You have huge, very high ceiling dining, living areas for the residents, common areas. And the porte cochere. You can park your car there. All right, so we are on 18th Street. Looks like the diner there is called Star on 18. So it's an old school diner. And we look east into, well, that's, I believe that building might be on 7th Avenue. It's a very famous Walker Tower, I believe. An old telephone building, those antennae. That probably has nothing to do with the telephones. And then there's a very interesting mural of Mother Teresa and Mahatma Gandhi, which we might be able to see from a different angle. Coming through Lantern House, now the One Highline, two twisted towers. They are. And over here we're supposed to get a new park. They're still building it. The park beneath the park. I believe there's a new hotel coming in there. You can see all the furniture all wrapped up. But that's all condominium building. Got another water fountain. This little park here, which is not open yet. West 17th Street. I believe I do have a video of an apartment there in the Caledonia. A slightly older building, meaning we're talking a decade or two. You can see those round portholes. That is the Maritime Hotel. A lot of fun things in there, including the PhD. It's a club, restaurant. No, it's not a restaurant, it's a club space. And then there are restaurants below, like Tao and a few other places. And who knows what's coming over there? Yeah. Coveted vacant land. Empty building over there. Who knows? Might be selling it. There's the Empire State Building. Taking selfies. People chilling. All right, something else being constructed here. 17th Street that can't go down there. So this is a rental and a condominium building. We went up to one of the higher two bedroom at the corner apartment. Beautiful views. Interesting shot. This is one of the fun features of the Highline Park here. Not this part. This is some kind of construction. But this looks almost like an amphitheater. So those people sitting there, they're watching. What are they watching?
Yeah, no, I looked at
The street, the avenue. It looks out on the avenue. See if we can get a better look at that. Go down these steps of the what looks like an amphitheater. See what we can see below. Nice shot right here. And there is, again, Hudson Yards, way up on the 30s, the Lantern House. We just walked through one Highline condo that I have a lot of videos of, still selling. And a lot of, even though the Lantern House is sold out, there are what's called resales. That means people who bought recently, couldn't have bought too long ago because it's a new building, decided, let's sell. And there's the Mahatma Gandhi and Mother Teresa. You could look out on from this vantage point. I mean, that's what I'll call it, a vantage point. Yep, you'd think there could be some sort of performance here. Maybe they could figure that out. Might be fun. Not a lot of room for a stage. And there we have it. The avenue. Park that's about to be done, and it's a new restaurant, Faina. No, it's a hotel, and there's a mural. I can just sit here and watch the traffic, like that. You can also watch the people behind me, taking their seats for the show. What is the show? Traffic. Okay, we continue on our trail here. Beautiful flowers. Daisies, I think. It's nice architectural details. This is building along the High Line. It's a public bathroom in here in case you wanted to use the bathroom while you were here. It's a rental building, Abington House. So on the other side here is another vista. See if we can go over there. Huge patch of flowers. A little lookout point over there. The big yacht. More little tracks down there. We're going through, I believe, an old factory building. They have some concession stands. They sell some art. Getting a little late in the evening for that, I guess. And there's a little restaurant down there. Let's see if that's open. Get a beer, some bar food. Nothing too fancy. Yeah, L'Arte del Gelato here. Coconut water. Trying to cover that up. Yep, the bar is closed. It is very bright, but it is summertime, so 8:20, I guess all these stands close up. Probably at 8, or maybe earlier, who knows, depending on the season. You see different sections here. Oh, that's a nice little bridge between old industrial buildings. I don't have to go downstairs and cross the street. They just rolled their wares through. Again, remember, this was a railroad. That is, I believe, Chelsea Piers. Chelsea Piers being a very large sports complex with some brewery and a few other conveniences. Huge ice skating rinks, pools, golf range. People just chilling in this beautiful, beautiful day. There's the little island. The little island is another park created out of these pods in the Hudson River. Another pier, and across there is New Jersey. So still in Chelsea here, Sugar Shack Buttonbush. All sorts of interesting plantings here. Very different from what you would see in a lot of the other parks we have. The white turtle head. I don't see any of those flowers. Where we get a little more of a view of the piers and the little island. More people chilling. To go through another building here, another old factory building with some modern enhancements above. Going down the stairs, we will continue on the High Line. So we are passing pretty much past Chelsea. We're moving into a section of the High Line that's in the Meatpacking District. The Meatpacking District is a completely different section of New York, as you'll see down here. These were all meatpacking stores. The Meatpacking District, and until not too long ago, there was a lot of meat here. They eventually moved them all up to the Bronx. I think there may be one left. I'm not sure if it's still there, but it's very coveted real estate. These are flagstones, cobblestones, whatever you call them. The old buildings have been modernized, fixed up. They still have this old feel, but they're all new inside. Fancy stores, high rents, many restaurants. I should do a meatpacking video as well. But right now we're on the High Line, back to where we are, the High Line. And there we go, see the people walking by, the railroad tracks, and this modern park created out of an old industrial creation of railroad tracks, which were about to be taken down. You can see cutouts in the industrial building there for the tracks to go through. So they probably were able to load and unload their goods, their materials. Reading on the High Line, obviously you can read all of it in online. Very interesting. And we're getting into another construction zone. I think it's the third construction zone along the High Line. So that's what you get when you have a lot of buildings in a narrow park. Can't go there, so we'll go here. All this network here, but little islands over there. Pretty shot if this were not networked. I don't know if that's a word. Oh, let's try it from the other side. So we'll go through here. This is a very, very famous hotel, the Standard Hotel. We just came upon it because this was all covered. Normally you could see up into the rooms when they first built it. I think they changed some of the glass or something like that. Notorious for when it was first built. And upstairs you have the boom room. Downstairs a lot of restaurants. Can't see them from here, floating above. But we're going through. Above us is most of the hotel, and I think the boom room up the top. And below us are plenty of restaurants. There is the Whitney Museum. Moved here maybe 10, 15 years ago. Very modern building. Moved from Madison Avenue. Gertrude Whitney, I think when I was going through the West Village, we saw her original site. That's all New Jersey. But, oh look, a meat company. Murray's All Natural Chicken, poultry, pork, lamb, veal. Now, there's still some meat in the meat packing. Look at these flowers. Ooh, beautiful. Both sides here. Let's see if I can get a river shot. Buildings here are considerably lower. Some of the old meat packing. The Brass Monkey Bar. Been there. The 3-story with the rooftop. Nice in the summer. And that's the Hudson River. Can't really see the little island. And we continue along the High Line. Another little peeks into meatpacking. I've noticed those awnings. They were all loading docks back then for the meat. And now, restaurants, high-end clothing stores. There's something called a Samsung Experience. Oh, there it is. Samsung Experience. Don't try to buy any Samsung things there. They're just for you to view. They're modern technology. You could buy a muffin and some coffee. That's just a showcase for their modern technology. Samsung Experience. And on we go. So still in the Meatpacking District part of the High Line. Looks like another slightly shaded area, although the sun is going down. Got an interesting sculpture over here. Britta Marakat, Luba, 2024. All right, let's see if we can get up close on her. W Hotel in New Jersey on the other side. That's Jersey City. More railroad tracks with plants and flowers. Obviously where there was an interchange, split off one direction and the other. And we come to another more open area. All right, so you see these signs here, Amy Sherald, April 9, August 10. That's an exhibit at the Whitney. It's all the Whitney Museum, and it is also the end of the High Line as we know it today. Take these stairs down into the Meatpacking District. On the other side of the Meatpacking District, meaning south of it. Ooh, I'm not going all the way down. Just a little view here. It's very meatpacking, as you can see from those awnings. And then you get into the West Village. I think that's Horatio Street, and from there on down is the West Village. Up here is all meatpacking. Back there, you see a little bit of the Hudson Yards. So this compact city, everything is all stacked on top of each other. Millions and millions and millions of people involved here. So before we say goodbye to the High Line, give you another little view. That's sunset in New Jersey. There's another pier over there near Chelsea Piers. There's the city winery. It's a huge structure there, and plenty of restaurants, water views. I think it's Pier 50 something or other. And we go down the stairs. Some kind of restaurant out here. Extension of a Shake Shack. It used to be a really beautiful Italian restaurant. Butterfly lanterns and things. Then over there, oh, that's closed. That's part of the Whitney, but it's a separate restaurant. Going down these stairs, getting to the end. That's the end of the High Line. Many years ago, even in my memory, these tracks extended into that building. That building was another industrial building where you could see all those windows. Well, now apartments. But it used to be where these tracks led, and they went down to Hudson, but they removed those before they could save the High Line. And here we have the Meatpacking District. So folks, that has been a tour of the High Line. So in conclusion, that has been a tour of the High Line, a fairly modern park in New York City, created out of an ancient industrial structure, elevated rail lines that brought and took industrial produce, raw materials in and out of this portion of the city, which was mostly factories back in the 1800s, early 1900s, and is now a very posh area, mostly residential, shopping, high-end stores, restaurants, and a museum behind me called the Whitney Museum, started by Gertrude Whitney. This is the end of the line here as it is today. It used to go further, and I do remember it jumping across there to that building. So we started up by Hudson Yards, which is another video I'd created. We went along the Western Spur, not terribly developed, and then back past Hudson Yards, down this whole stretch through an area called Chelsea. Chelsea is another neighborhood in New York City. We will do a video on that, so stay tuned, follow, and subscribe to hear about other videos. Look me up if you want an apartment in New York City or somewhere else. I can help you at other places through affiliates here in the city. I would most probably help you myself. Christopher Butt with the Corcoran Group.